Hello and welcome to another cast for StarCastTV. I'm iRk-RoyalBlue, and joining me is my co-caster Shroom of Doom, and we're going to be casting today a match, Terran vs Protoss, between Snow and Light. And so we have Snow spawning in the bottom left as the blue Protoss, and Light in the bottom right as the, Peach Terran.
Map is Escalade, a little bit of a newer map. So looking forward to seeing what these two top tier ASL class players are going to bring to the table today.
Yeah, we'll see. We've already casted 2 games by these players so far, and they were both pretty intense games that ended, relatively quickly, I gotta say. So maybe we'll see another aggressive opening from Light, as we saw in the previous game.
Yeah. So far the other two matches we casted, definitely they were, like more like timings coming out from both players, right? Like focusing on early aggression timing pushes, right? Which is not bad. I mean, it is exciting whenever you're watching pro StarCraft. I mean, it's always exciting. But it is nice to see a long standard macro game once in a while too, right? Really see the mechanics of these two players come to play, right? And the strength of their knowledge and their build orders, right, and all that.
Yeah, it looks like Light here might be going for a fast command center, and I think Snow is going for a 12 next. So both these
Yeah,
players going full greed now. As we were remarking about how much timings they were going for before. Now it looks like they're doing the opposite. They're going for a nice early expansion. This is kind of an interesting command center placement. I'm assuming he wants to build a wall here with his first barracks.
yeah. I think it's he's trying to set up some kind of wall for an anti-zealot in case Snow has gone zealots, and yeah, this is actually a good wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do it. It's really smart, and but fortunately for him, Snow has gone 12 next, so there will not be any kind of like early aggression. But but it's kind of like fortunately for him, like he's gonna get away with the fast expansion, but also unfortunately, Snow did also go 12 next, so like
Mm-hmm.
he's not gonna really have an economic edge, right? Uh,
Now Snow is
yeah,
placing 2 gateways, so maybe he will. At least that's the more defensive 12 next, right? That we're gonna see now 2 gateways and then cybernetics core. So at least that's an advantage that Light might have, that Snow isn't going for the full greed, I don't think.
yeah. I actually think well, yeah, like Snow, yeah, he's gonna like these two gates are, in case like Light scouts him something, he's gotta make zealots, right? But I mean, I don't think really like Snow overcommitted on defense because he didn't see any SCV scouts when he got the core first. You know what I'm saying? He's only making
Yeah,
one zealot, so he's basically full greed, as greedy as you can get as Protoss,
yeah,
And
I think you're right. Knowing that he hasn't been scouted yet has allowed him to skimp on units. So he only has 1 Zealot out and 1 Dragoon on the way, or now 2 Dragoons. So not a ton out right now for Protoss, but on the other side of things, Terran only has 2 Marines out and a bunker. So both these guys just macroing up right now, pumping out SCVs and probes and waiting for the later game.
yeah, for sure. So definitely gonna be a macro game, definitely. I think in this situation, um, I do think Protoss is actually ahead. If I recall, if you go 12 next and you basically don't make any defending units, you are actually economically ahead. It's a little bit better than 14cc, if I recall. So I would say Protoss is a little bit ahead,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I mean, at this point, it still can be anybody's game, basically. So I like how Light is up on SCVs though. He's a little bit up on SCVs, so he's got that good in his favor a bit.
Yeah, Light went straight for 2 factories, so maybe he will Okay, and there's the engineering bay. So it looks like maybe tanks siege mode in the future here for light. And we're gonna have to
Yeah,
see
he.
what he. Mhm.
Oh no, sorry. No, I was just saying, yeah, he basically has to go tanks first, and he's got to get engineering bay because he was not able to get a good scout off on Snow's base, right? So it's in case there's like Reaver DT. About siege mode though, I'm not completely sure if he will go siege mode. I mean, you do have to kind of go siege mode if the Protoss is like wailing on your bunker with like a ton of goons. But
Mhm.
I've seen some like builds come out on the Terran where you skip siege mode, you go mines, you get like 3 tanks or 4 tanks or something like that. You skip like siege mode, and you do actually kind of like a push. So that's definitely viable too, I think.
Yeah, I think that push can work depending on the goon count of your opponent, like you were saying. Like there's only
Exactly.
4 goons out right now, so this is like doable if you try to push with maybe 3 tanks. But once he gets up to like 8 or 9 goons, you kind of need siege mode. So
Oh yeah, for sure. Even 6 goons in an arc. Okay, wait, hold that thought. Wow,
yeah,
Snow diving on that tank. So this has changed the calculus of the game immeasurably already. I would say Snow is in a commanding position now. I mean, I don't even know if Light's gonna attempt that kind of push again. You need every single last tank if you're gonna do that like 4-3 tank push, right? Without
hmm
siege mode. And if you look at back at Light's base, you can see he has opted to go for the siege mode. So I think yeah, he's gonna play it a little bit more defensive right now. If he does make a push, it's gonna be a little bit delayed.
he has gone up to 6 Marines now. He's producing more Marines, so maybe he does want to do a push again. Uh, that's what this Marines would tell me. Now we see on the other side of things, though, there is a Reaver on the way as well as shuttle speed. It looks like so. We know what Snow's going for as well now. But here comes that push that you were calling for. So he's got some vultures on the way. He's getting his mines and speed upgrade. And he's going with 4 tanks. Even after losing that first tank, he's going for his timing. He,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's huge though. Like he's already lost 1 tank. Imagine if he had one more tank with this push. I mean, that would be huge. And especially with the Reaver now out from Snow, oof, I don't know. This is gonna be like a really tough call for Light to get something done. To be honest.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, is there even a timing here, knowing that Protoss hasn't taken a third base yet? Because Protoss has just macroed out a bunch of goons and a Reaver now, so they haven't even looked to take a third base. So why would there be a timing here for Terran? It doesn't look like it's going to work out for Light this time around anyway. He is forced
Yeah,
back. He has kept his tanks alive at least.
yeah. This timing is kind of like it's meant to kill like a Protoss which tries to take an early third. But I mean, okay, like don't get me wrong, Snow's third is early, but he's able to take it so early because he basically got away with like 12 necks, right? But he's also got tech along with the third. You see what I mean? And that's
Yeah,
the power of the 12 necks. I don't think he would have been able to take an expansion this early if he had not gotten such a huge eco lead in the beginning. And that's Snow, I mean, right? And you can see that push from Light being absolutely clean. So Protoss, Snow in a commanding position now.
yeah, that push got denied pretty hard now by this shuttle, which we saw make an appearance and Zealot bomb and get the Reaver out pretty effectively against those tanks. And like you were saying, that shuttle and the Reaver really denied this push, and they also allowed for Protoss to take a fast third. So now Protoss has this third, which is about to finish up, and as soon as he can clear away these vultures, he's going to be able to start mining from that base, which is only going to put Snow even more ahead of Terran at this time.
Yeah, yeah. It's really Snow's game now as well. He has solid map control with that Reaver as well. Being able to kind of keep the Terran on his toes and all that. I mean, Terran can get some map control with the vultures, but he only has like 2 vultures on the map, and I think they've exhausted their mines, so they're basically paperweights at this time. And huge attack in the front, good targeting from Terran, taking down that Reaver and completely destroying this push from Protoss. You know what? if there was one thing Light needed in this game to come back, that was it.
Yeah, definitely. That was Snow maybe getting a little over eager there, knowing he was ahead, but maybe trying to be. Maybe we could say that was impatient because Snow losing that battle didn't set him back too far, but it did give Light some hope because before that battle, Light nothing was going right for him, and now at least he's kind of reset the goon count, taken out a Reaver and a Shuttle, and maybe he'll be able to establish this third base location, which right now does have some goons harassing the workers that have been transferred there, but there is some Terran forces on the way. We've got some tanks and Goliath trying to clean up these goons.
Yeah, yeah.
Some
This
nice
is
SCVs
huge. Yeah,
being pulled.
good blocking, good linebacker play from them. Beautiful mines. Did you see that, man? Like
Yeah, perfect
tapping
mine
those dudes.
placement.
Yeah. But going earlier, going off what you said, yeah, I completely agree. Like had Snow not done that attack with his shuttle and the Reaver and the goons, he would have been able to deny the third. I have no doubt about it, right? Because you had a shuttle, you had a Reaver, you had the Zealots in the shuttle as well,
Mhm.
right? And a ton of goons. But because he threw away that army completely, it allowed Light to take his third basically, and just like that, Light's back in it. I wouldn't say he's ahead, but he's definitely stabilized.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just like that, setting up this third base, Light is no longer in a horrible position. As we can see, both these players really keeping on top of their worker production, and so they already have that late game type worker count. So now they're just going to start expanding, and we see Snow expanding here to the top left. He's already taking his fourth base, it looks like, and so before even getting his Arbiter out, he's going to take another base.
Yeah, I mean, we are transitioning into the mid to late-ish game. At this phase of the game, basically both players are looking just to macro and maybe get some harassment done. Get some map control with Vulture slash Dragoon, depending on which player you are. Oh, but hold that thought. Look to the south of Snow's base. 3 Vultures coming into the main, looking to snipe some probes. SimCity from Protoss just not exactly good enough. I think the Protoss was planning to you know, make it a bit of a SimCity to block the vultures, but vultures were able to get behind that middle line, getting a couple pro kills and denying mining from a little bit. But at this late of the game, as you were saying earlier, the pro count and SCV counts are so huge that not too big of a deal, right? Just a little bit of a minor inconvenience.
Yeah, I think that cannon was actually perfectly placed. Like you're saying, if there was a full wall off on the bottom of that, that would have been better for Protoss. Here we see more vultures doing a run by over here at this third base location for Protoss, and they are taking out quite a few of the probes actually, before being cleaned up here by this Arbiter.
Yeah, this was a good attack. Definitely worth it. Basically resetting the probes at that third. Definitely slowing down Snow a bit. So that was definitely a good run by. Uh, yeah, and now we see just both players playing the long game, playing the macro game. I expect to see once Light gets 180 to 200. Once he gets his 2-1 upgrades, he's probably going to make a push, and yeah, it'll basically come down to if Snow can break that push, or because Snow does have an Arbiter out already, he could try for recall as well. That's
Mhm.
always definitely an option. But we'll have to see with what these two players are going to plan to do.
Yeah, we see Snow almost coming near max now. He hasn't quite, totally exploded the gateway count, but he is looking to take another main, so we may see that momentarily here from Protoss to just add up to like 20 gateways, uh,
Yeah, yeah, for
just to
sure.
get that production to break the push.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. He has what, like 9 gateways in his main right now. That is not enough. That is not enough to combat the Terran. The thing is, I mean, if the Terran trades equally, or if he gets a good engagement, the Protoss is dead. He'll never be able to re-macro. out of 9 gates enough, right? But okay, hold that thought. Looks like Protoss coming up on the high ground. He's gonna try to make an attack. Terran is out of position, so this might work.
Here comes the Arbiter with a flank and maybe try to stasis, but that's not a great stasis. Only gets a few vultures.
Not the best stasis.
Great use of the high ground though from Protoss as he is rolling down into these Terran tanks, but the stasis does create a wall somewhat, and all these tanks are gonna survive.
Yeah, not the fight Snow was looking for. Definitely not the fight Snow was looking for. And again, you know, he's like you can see he's throwing down more gates now, 2 more gates in his main, but this might be too little too late. Terran took a fantastic fight, and this might just trigger Light to make an attack right into the Snow's main, you know. And you can see, yeah, he is moving out with all his tanks. Looks like he's looking to trap that Protoss army.
Yeah, Protoss now realizing they're kind of in trouble, desperately trying to buy time, being pushed back to the top right. Wow, they are going to get some of these science vessels at least, getting 2 of them, but now losing quite a few Dragoons to this Vulture and Tank Force, which is just forcing them farther and farther back up to the top right. But all that being said, Snow is just trying to buy time and so he can macro out of his gateways because he is up on bases. And we see Terran is going to mine out of the main very soon here. And then it's just going to come down to the units Terran already has out on the map because we don't see really any posturing to take a 4th base just yet for Terran. He has started a 4th command center. But here's the big engage in the middle. There's a stasis getting the science vessel, which could prove critical here.
Yeah, like Snow really, he's got to break this army, but I don't know if he can do it, you know. Light's just not giving him the time to like re-macro back to the 200, right?
Yeah, here comes the second Arbiter with a nice stasis as well, getting quite a few of those tanks. And a nice flank, actually. And there goes a Storm, so maybe he's done it. Snow getting a nice flank with and surround with these Dragoons. And the scan's going down, but not quite enough here for Terran.
Yeah, Light, he didn't have his entire army together. He moved a little too far ahead. He still had like I think 4 tanks which weren't stasis before, like behind the fight. So that really allowed Snow to really take a good fight, and yeah, that was the fight Snow needed. So basically, yeah, that basically kept him alive. And looks like Light continuing to push forward though, taking the high ground. Ooh, he's gonna get a good fight. He's gonna get a good, yeah, and he gets a great fight from that.
Stasis.
He's gonna be able to take the high ground as well, right? And this is such a hard position for Protoss to break. The majority of the Protoss gates are in his main, so if Terran can choke off the Protoss main, Snow is in a ton of trouble.
Yeah, and that's actually also where quite a few probes are for Protoss at this time. So losing this location, or at least getting this location cut off, could cause quite a few problems for Snow as this game goes on. And we see now actually Light trying to establish a base here in the bottom middle behind his push, but also sieging down the 3rd base location for Protoss.
Yeah, I think this is it for Protoss. I mean, Snow's bottled up in his base. He's literally contained in his main. I mean, the only thing he can do is like recalls, basically, right? And he has what, like 4 gates in his top left base, but with the 3rd falling, and I mean, looking at the game, I mean, Protoss is basically mining on 1 base. Terran's gonna be mining on basically 2 bases. I mean, his Natural's gonna mine out, but he's basically gonna be mining on 2 bases. So I don't see how Protoss can come back from this. And I mean, Protoss has good upgrades, but again, so does Terran. And you know, mech upgrades, definitely the strongest upgrades in the game come from Terran mech, right? No doubt about it. So I really do think we're just gonna see the Protoss get choked out. It's just a waiting, you know, it's the waiting game now, basically, right?
Yeah, this has been a really nice play from Light to see. Even though he was behind in the early game, he has totally turned it around now. Playing defensive, establishing that 3rd, and now with his kind of death push, now that he's got his upgrades on his tanks, he's able to siege up the Protoss and contain his gateways. And now there's nothing left for him to do except kind of follow Snow around and pick off his expansions. So now he's moving up to the top right, but as I say that, Protoss has broken out of the main. So at least he's cleared up that one tank force.
But this is his last mining base for Protoss, though. Well, he's gonna have one more if he transfers the probes, but like
Ooh, recall.
recall.
Was not expecting that. That was actually a kind of nice recall, but is there enough Protoss here? GG is called.
Yeah, not enough to break Terran. And yeah, very nice play. You know what? Very nice play from Light. I totally agree with you. He was behind at the beginning, but I kind of feel like Snow made a couple bad moves. Like the first one trying to break him with the Reaver at the very beginning. The second one, when he tried to take that engage in the high ground, the first big fight, right? I think that set him, those two things set him too far behind, right? And Light being able to make a great recovery and win the game.
Yeah, definitely some nice play from both those players. And thank you all for joining us for this cast. And we hope to see you all in the next video here for StarCast TV. That's it from me, iRk-RoyalBlue, and thank you all for joining us.